I always find it interesting when in a recession or potential recession or market instability, right? Whatever your story is in your country, um, we talk we talk about this idea of cost cutting, and organizations divest themselves of things they believe is waste. Like we've seen Capital One get rid of a lot of agile coaches and scrum masters, and even though they didn't really, because they're still hiring agile coaches and scrum masters, lots of other organizations have kind of done a lot of those cost cutting measures, and actually they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're absolutely shooting themselves in the foot. They're disadvantaging themselves in the face of other organizations that don't do that do it differently. Um, Probably the best analogy I remember. I have done a little bit of marketing in the distant past. I remember from university, at least, that the best time to invest in marketing is when sales are down and the economy's not so great, because the benefits that you reap on the other end are the payday, right? You have to put in the investment, put in the time. When everything's boom and everything's going on, you don't need a lot of marketing to do the business that you want to do. When everything sucks, you need to do more to get what's there, right? Because everything sucks and there's not enough to go around. So those that invest in sales and marketing during a recession are the ones that are more likely to be successful coming out the other end. And the same is true for Agile. For Agile and let's call it business agility rather than the big A word, whatever we want to call it. I want businesses to be able to effectively take advantage of market opportunities when they arise, right? All businesses exist in a volatile market. There's very few. There used to be non-volatile markets. Today, there's very few non-volatile markets. Maybe diamonds. I don't know. That's maybe a non-volatile market. I don't know much about it, but it feels non-volatile. But all of the markets that we're all going to exist in, if you're building software and products, I have a good example in oil and gas, that if you're in that volatile market, when things start to suck, that's the time you should be investing in your efficiency, your productivity, and your effectiveness, right? Those are the times when you should be investing in those things, because part of it is you get a little bit of breathing room, right? Because if there's not a lot going on in the market, like the market's starting to stagnate a little bit, then you've not got that clamoring for new features, and it gives you time to get your house in order, to reorganize, reevaluate, re-see what's going on. But we tend to focus purely on the numbers, right? Because lots of organizations have shareholders, and shareholders want their cash. So we can either not pay the shareholders this quarter and reinvest in our company and our people and our organization, or we can fire 500 people and give the shareholders a higher yield than they were expecting, right? And lots of organizations opt for that second one, and that is shooting yourself in the foot. That is revenue extraction over value creation. We want to be focusing on value creation, because long-term value creation is what builds an effective business. It's how your business was built in the first place. So we want to be focusing during a recession on effectiveness, productivity, and all those lovely goodies. So in the boom times, we tried all the things, right? Anything that came along, we've got cash for it, let's do that. Oh, we've got cash for this, let's do that, right? because we've got a lot of cash. We're affluent. When we start moving into the opposite of boom, bust, I guess, when that bubble pops or deflates, right? It could just be deflating a little bit. Then we need to focus on our own effectiveness. If we can become more effective, we can do more with what we've got. And that means that we'll be the ones in the market innovating and adapting to the changing market more effectively. Does that make sense? Like if we start if we start firing lots of people, we're going to have an unhappy workforce because people are unhappy when their friends get fired or other people in the company because they get scared and then there's fear and they don't want to do stuff and they're like, holy crap, what's going on? So unhappy, afraid people don't do good work. So by having those layoffs within your organization, you've created a culture of fear, maybe unwittingly, and maybe some of it's necessary, right? But you've created that culture of fear. And the people that are in there are not going to be serving the customer's needs as well because they're fearful. So then customers are more unhappy with what it is that you're doing, and you get that vicious cycle, and lots of organizations end up in a death spiral at that point. And you just know they're going to disappear. It can be quite difficult to recover from some of those things. So what we do when the bubble starts deflating is we start focusing on our effectiveness. How do we ensure that we're able to maximize the amount we're able to deliver? If you think of this, this is my market line, right? And above the line is the market. And then the people that are doing the work are here. And all the way down here is the CEO who's not really connecting with the market, right? The market, or the people in your organization that are connected directly to the market. They're the ones that we want to have as effective as possible and dynamically shifting to whatever market opportunities come up, because the more opportunities we're able to take advantage of within that market space, even in a recession, the less impact it's going to have in our overall business, especially if we're doing lots of small experiments, which can be risky, but also we get, without risk you don't get the bonus, right? And we're able to adapt to those changing needs as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Then we as a business are more likely to survive. We're just more likely to survive if we're able to adapt to those changing market needs. And I want to quote Satya Nadella here. I have a little quote up here. There cannot be a more important thing for an engineer, for a product team, than to work on the systems that drive our productivity. So I would, any day of the week, trade off features for our own productivity. I want our best engineers to work on our engineering systems so that later on we can come back and build all of the new concepts we want. That is the epitome of this idea, right? Although from an engineering perspective, because Satya has an engineering background, right? If we as a business have slicker, more effective processes, minimized processes, right? You want to have systems on your business that is based on principles, not rules. If you have rules, everybody will follow them, and they don't need to think. If they don't need to think, when a market opportunity comes along, they follow the rule, not the market, right? Because they're not thinking. They need to follow the rule. But if we have a system based on principles, then the people within it need to think. And within the bounds of those principles, they take advantage of market opportunities as they arise, or other opportunities, or different ways of doing things in order to be successful. So this idea of boom and bust, of non-recession and recession, is when things are going badly, the thing you want to be investing in is your people in your organization and your practices and processes, and making things more effective. More effective is really important. A lot of people in business talk about productivity, and productivity is important, but I think effectiveness is that nuanced version of the word productivity that is, because we could be highly productive, i.e., we're delivering lots of stuff, but are we delivering the right stuff, right? I know that this is basically me nitpicking the word, right? But effectiveness is includes, are we building enough of the right stuff? And these are the types of things that we need to invest in. And now that doesn't mean that you've to go and invest hundreds of thousands in Scrum training or Kanban training or coaches or Scrum masters or any of those things. You want to figure out for your business in your market, right? Because remember, you're in that volatile market. What help and support do the people that are interacting with the market need in order to become more effective? Now, sometimes that is going to be training, right? Do they understand the theory and principles behind this? We think this might help those teams. Let's train them in this. We're not going to make them do that, right? We're not going to, for example, let's take Scrum as an example. We're not going to make them do Scrum. We want the people that are doing the work, that are engaging with the volatile markets, to be able to choose the best approach based on the principles that we base our organization on. So in order for them to choose the best approach, best within the context, right? Most effective within the context, they need to have the knowledge and skills and understanding necessary to be able to make those decisions. So this is where actually you also don't go and hire one of the big consulting companies to come in and do it for you, right? So you could hire a Boston Consulting Group or McKinsey to come in and say, this is how you're going to do everything. But the people in the system didn't learn anything. The way humans learn is by doing. We learn more by doing than by just talking about it. So in order to learn what works and what doesn't, and how much it works and how much it doesn't, we need to actually do and try the things. So you need the people within your system, right? That's the people that work for you in your company. This is your people. They need to be the ones that do the work. They need to be the ones that learn, that become the practitioners, that understand those processes, practices, tools, principles, theories, right? So the theory of constraints, you might talk about Scrum theory, you might be talking about first principles for all of these things. They need to be the ones that understand it so that they're able, within any context, to make the best decision possible, right? To make the best choices possible within the system of principles that we build around our organizational structure. And that means that you're probably going to be doing a lot of training. You're probably going to be bringing in experts on specific topics to help engage with people inside the organization. But generally, you probably don't want to be doing that wholesale, right? Because what's right for one part of the organization might not be right for another part of the organization. So what I think is an effective way is let the people that are doing the work decide who and what they need. So I work with a company in Spain. It's kind of two sister companies that it's kind of same but different, but yeah. And they give every single one of their employees a budget for training and consulting, right? So every employee, I can't remember how much it was. Let's say it's 5,000 euros. Every employee has 5,000 euros. So if you've got a team of 5 people, that's 25,000 euros to spend on training and consulting. It's their budget. They can spend it how they like. They can get together and bring in some kind of coach. They can get together and bring in, maybe they want a scrum master for a little while, or somebody specific, right? Like you want somebody who focuses on a particular thing. Like there are folks out there that focus on sprint goals and value, and there's people out there who focus on engineering practices and DevOps, right? So you could bring in an expert for a period of time to participate with the team, and it comes out of their budget. They're the ones making the decision. And that means that because they're making the decision, they care about what that person they've chosen to bring in have to say. This is the whole thing of other people don't care about your goals, right? They care about their goals. So the way you enable more effective organizations is either you make their goals your goals, or they make your goals their goals, right? So we all have to be going in the same direction. What is it we're trying to do? And principles and goals, strategic goals, intermediate strategic goals, those are the things that help us move together in the same direction as a distinct company. And when we put all of that together, we're then able to be more effective. We're able to deliver more value. We're able to adapt as needed to the changing circumstances, right? So as a team or group inside of your organization decides they need some help with something, they can just bring that help in. It's not hard. There's not a bunch of procurement hoops, none of that crap, right? That just gets in the way. They're able to just bring in those people, get them to help them with that story, make it a little bit better. What's the next problem we've got, right? We need this other person to come in, help with this little bit, make them a little bit awesome, right? What's next? We maybe don't know what's next. Maybe we bring in a generic expert who's able to, we maybe should try this, this, and this. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's try that. They're able to do all of those experiments, build that story of effectiveness that works best for them. And each area within your organization is able to do that, concentric circles, all interacting with the market. So ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you're in boom or bust. This is how you want to focus on maximizing your chances of weathering that storm. All markets deal in surprise. Doesn't matter what markets you're in, there are going to be surprises. A recession is just another type of surprise. How effective is your organization at dealing with those surprises?